Hello, and thanks for joining me to talk about our favourite game that does not yet exist. The devs released a huge update just last week, laying out a new roadmap for the project and fundamentally a new timeline for the beginning of the alpha access sea trials. I'm going to take you through this new journal update, talking about the reaction to it, the new details, the new timeline, and talking about other updates from development in the same journal. Let's get into it. Tyler gets straight to the point in this latest journal, no messing around, telling us that the revised target for sea trials is now July 2026. For those of you that aren't aware, the original roadmap was basically Q1 for sea trials. That's the alpha testing access for anybody that backed Kickstarter at a certain level. And then it was Q4, which was for the public arena launch on Steam, a full release, a game that I can buy, you can buy, your grandmother can buy. So that's how it was supposed to be. Q1 and then Q4, the two timelines, and then open world is something that may or may not exist in the future. Now what's effectively happened is the original Q1 target for sea trials has now been postponed around 4 months now. So it's going to be July, hopefully this year, that we get our hands on that. And then what was originally the back end of the roadmap, the Q4 release this year, that has effectively been put back a year to December 2027. What has the reaction been? To be honest, within the community and Discord, it has been overwhelmingly supportive and positive. I think that's for a number of reasons, really. I think the first reason is simply transparency. We've been aware for a long time in Discord, and actually Tyler sort of re-explains this in this journal, that the guys lost more than 2 months of development time just because of bureaucracy, basically, because of their own success in the Kickstarter. They had to figure out their tax liabilities. I think it took a long time for the actual funds to be released, which means, they couldn't start paying people, investing in the equipment, for example, the mocap. They couldn't do this. We were already aware of this in the Discord because, the devs were pretty frustrated about it. On top of that, Tyler has actually added in this journal something that I don't think we actually knew, in that some of their initial hires let them down. I don't know if that was specifically programmers, artists, sound designers. I'm not actually sure on that one, but that's, some transparency that we didn't know, and that's going to take time. And again, within the Discord, certainly, and I haven't seen a lot of pushback elsewhere on the internet, and, I look out for this stuff. I don't think there's been much pushback, and everybody is, people are patient, we want this game to succeed. It's going to be good. And the delay is not the end of the world. Especially the alpha access, that's not a long delay. I'm personally a little bit disappointed in the public delay being so long, but to be honest, that's just because I'm so invested in this project emotionally that my friends that aren't directly as hyped about this game, I want to play it with them, and I want them to be able to buy it on Steam and play with me. But to be honest, I'll be happy to play with the community when we get our hands on this, hopefully sooner. That's just a personal point that, I can't wait for this game to be on Steam. So I think the second reason the reaction has been so supportive is that they've actually added things to the new roadmap. They've basically said, if we're going to delay this, we're doing it for the right reasons, and because we're adding things to the roadmap, because we think this game can be better than we originally thought. We've hired more people. We're making this not just a buggy alpha access where they launch you on a ship in an open, empty ocean where there's nothing to look at, nothing to actually do, there's no interface, there's no explanation. They're actually adding in a proper sort of tutorial, an introduction to sailing. And as you can see on this new roadmap, we're going to look at what it actually looks like with concrete points to improve the game before we get to the public release at the end of next year. As you can see, I've sort of bookended this image so that we can see the two original points that were supposed to be Q1 this year and then Q4 this year. So that's the beginning of the goal, and that's the end of the goal, starting this July. After July in Sea Trials, when we get access to sail around, hopefully, we're then going to have some balance updates. Obviously, sometime between July and December, they're probably going to gradually improve this and issue updates as we go, and as we probably report some bugs, I imagine. We're then at some point going to get access to the Yellow Jacket ship, which, by the way, the original sea trials that we hopefully get this July will start with the Bumblebee ship, which is currently the smallest ship in the fleet. We then should get access this December to the Regatta update, which is actually a huge deal. This allows the community to race one another. It effectively makes this alpha access an online game. The community can really take off more than it already has. We can race each other. Tyler goes on to explain in the journal that we should be able to upload URLs of our racing, sort of, not necessarily a direct video replay, but showing the path that each ship took. We can have, tournaments or leagues or something. I'm sure the community are going to go wild with this. So yeah, really exciting, big deal. Can I just point out, take a look at this image again. I think this actually looks like a real image from a video game with an interface or a heads-up display where you can see, this kind of looks like a loading menu. This is officially, I think, the first image from the game. I may be wrong about that, but it looks like a loading screen of some sort to me. And here's the good stuff. Look at this, July 2027. This is why we're not too bothered about this delay, because the community, those with alpha access, those with sort of sea trials, we will get access to the naval combat before the general public do with the public release. This is obviously the big part of this roadmap that sticks out to a lot of players. This is where we get to challenge one another. We get to, fire cannons potentially for the first time. I don't know if it will be before this. This is effectively what it's going to be, the product in its infancy. And, we're really excited to get our hands on that naturally. And then after this, we get Changing Seas, which is 2 new maps introduced. I imagine if we're going to only have access to one map for pretty much a year before this, that will be like gold dust, because I'm sure we're going to exhaust every nautical mile of that map that we do get access to. So these 2 maps are probably going to be welcomed with open arms. We've got another incrementally larger ship being introduced, and then we get NPC crew, which is going to be really interesting to see how they pull this off and how many NPCs we have on our ship, if they're going to increase that. If we're going to start with 1 friend on our boat, and then by the time we get to the end of Alpha, we're going to have a full NPC crew to command. Who knows where they're going to go with that. And then finally, leading up to the full public release, we've got the rest of the game modes being introduced to Arena, the ones that we were shown in the Kickstarter, Naumachia and Dominion, and also the close quarters melee and firearms combat preview. I'm not sure whether that just means on the ships, or if that's going to be taking place in, Port Royal, Jamaica, which we know does exist in some format, if that's going to be a land-based preview, or if that's just going to be combat, on the deck of a ship. Let me know in the comments how you interpret that or what I've missed here. Just a quick note, we do also get a small preview of the next ship in the fleet. I don't mean to sound ungrateful. I think we're just a little bit numb to the whole new ship thing because, and I mean this in a good way, pretty much every journal since the Kickstarter, it feels like we've been introduced to a new ship that's been built. Obviously, we want to get our hands on these ships and actually be able to command them before we get excited necessarily about a new ship, unless it's going to be like HMS Victory. And here we go. We have got the upcoming gameplay preview. That's been announced for next journal. So, in about 3 weeks' time, everyone on the internet that, in some cases understandably, are so skeptical, and until they see gameplay, even people within the actual community who have got that same skepticism, until they see some real substance, they're going to finally see this. This is massive. I know Tyler has said so many times they're perfectionists. They want to get this right. They want even the first glimpse of gameplay to look really good. So hopefully we're almost there, More than 6 months after the Kickstarter, we've almost got gameplay. So really exciting times. We also got to see some behind the scenes voice acting for a French contingent. Obviously, that's going to be to voice a lot of the French NPCs, hopefully on a French location within the Caribbean coming soon. I really encourage you to just check this out, just to remind you, if you're feeling impatient about the game or skeptical, this is a really good reminder of the sort of premium quality that this game is hopefully going to be. The guys are really making this feel like a premium product. We're going to have rich quality NPCs, rich locations that feel real. I don't think they're going to, although some of us would like them to, just plaster a load of land masses across a sea that you can explore and have nothing to do. Perhaps like naval action, where you pull up to a port and you just click an interface just to enter the port and just do some trades on some numbers on a screen and then just sail off somewhere else. They're concentrating on adding the quality to these locations kind of before the locations even exist. So that's really, really good stuff. This journal also updates us on the physical Kickstarter rewards for those that backed at those certain levels. We've got the hats, which are very close to being shipped to those lucky backers. And we've got more of a preview of the physical book, The Ships and Boats of Ahoy Volume 1. This is being finalized for print. This will be going to those that backed at that certain level, but also they open this up to everybody to purchase individually. I actually ordered mine just a few days ago. I really encourage you, if you can afford it, to consider buying one of these. If imposter syndrome doesn't get the better of me and I carry on making more videos, I will hopefully soon have my copy on the bookcase behind me for you all to see. The last part of the journal just features some Q&As for you to take a look at, and also a section on the clothing of the NPCs in this game. Another reminder of what I just said about how this game is really going to town when it comes to adding real rich quality and real stories and showing the work that really goes into this game and the research. There's some really interesting points about the enslaved population of the Sugar Islands and what they would typically wear. I really encourage you to check this out and just read, again, just to remind you of this game is serious. It's going to be great. It's going to get there. And when it does get there, yeah, can't wait. And that's it from me. That wasn't too hard, was it? Let me know if I've been too critical or too generous or neither. Please leave a like and a subscribe. It will help out massively. Go over to Commodore Lyrics. He's been basically holding the fort single-handedly when it comes to content creation for this game. So go check him out. Give him some love. Check out the links in the description, fundamentally to check out Ahoy if somehow you've reached my video and you're not actually aware of what I'm talking about. And yeah, hopefully see you soon. And until then, love the game, love your neighbor, and love yourself. Cheerio.